While the world is still sleeping, you're already at war with yourself. It's not easy, not even close. When you're young, waking up at 6 a.m. during the off-season feels like torture. The house is quiet, your bed is warm, and every cell in your body begs you to stay under the covers. Meanwhile, your friends are still snoring, dreaming of pancakes and summer days. But you lace up your shoes and head out into the cold because, deep down, you want more. It's tough when you're dragging your gear down the street, sweat already dripping before you even reach practice. The sun's blazing at 90 degrees, and you catch a glimpse of kids splashing in pools, tanning at the beach, laughing without a care. And here you are, choosing pain, choosing repetition, choosing to be better. It's brutal when you're up against kids twice your size, throwing, catching, blocking, tackling, getting knocked down again and again. You go home bruised, sore, and questioning your limits, only to wake up and do it all over again the next day. Not because you're forced to, but because you've got something to prove to yourself. Here's the truth. Life is hard. For everyone. No exceptions. We all get hit. We all fall. We all carry invisible scars. And the sooner you accept that, the faster you grow. Football, life, whatever your arena, none of it is fair. And that's why it shapes you. I remember sitting there during the draft, round after round passing me by, watching name after name get called. And mine. Just silence. It hurt. It felt personal. I remember taking a long walk with my mom and Dad that day, trying to hold it together, trying to believe that my moment was still coming. And then the phone rang. The Patriots. That call changed everything. I wasn't going to be an insurance salesman. I was getting a shot. And now, when I look back, those painful days, those seemingly hopeless moments became the most powerful chapters of my story, because I approached them with humility. I looked inward instead of blaming the world, and in doing so, I grew. In high school, I developed one thing that changed my entire path: a relentless work ethic. I told myself, if I want to be great, I need to do what others won't. I had to wake up early, stay later, learn more, make the extra rep when no one was watching. I had to keep my mind open, keep learning, keep showing up. And guess what? You don't need to be born gifted. You don't need to be special. You just need to be what most people aren't: consistent, determined, and willing. Integrity, purpose, grit, discipline. These are the things that make champions, not shortcuts, not luck. It wasn't easy for me, not in high school, definitely not in college. I wasn't a prodigy, I wasn't a superstar, but I learned how to fight, how to earn respect, how to dig deeper than I ever thought I could, even when I felt like giving up. I was far from home, far from comfort, but I knew this was the place that would test me, and I wanted to be tested. So I focused on what I could control: my effort, my mindset, my grind. I didn't waste time comparing myself to others. I showed up to practice every day with a mission: to give more than anyone else. I didn't chase distractions. I chased excellence. And over time, the team saw it. They believed in me, because I chose to believe in myself, long before anyone else did. We left off with one core truth. You don't have to be the most gifted, just the most committed. And that commitment, it starts every single morning. I didn't want to let him down, my coach, my family, my teammates, but more than that, I didn't want to let myself down. Every day, you face the same silent choice. Where am I going to direct my time, my energy, my focus today, and the answer, whether whispered or shouted, builds the rhythm of your life. The real question is, how disciplined are you to keep showing up when no one's watching, when it's not exciting anymore, when it gets hard? Because over time, that quiet discipline, repeated day after day, becomes the foundation of your success. Be proud of the version of you who shows up, not the highlight reel version, not the flashy one, the one who drags themselves out of bed when they don't feel like it, the one who honors their priorities. That person is your champion. Now, did I always have that fire, that killer instinct to dominate? Not at first. That mindset didn't appear overnight. It evolved. In high school, I wasn't the kid with the golden arm. I couldn't launch a football 80 yards. I didn't have the lightning speed of the elite guys, and I certainly wasn't the biggest, but I had something else. I had something inside, something no one could measure, a quiet, burning desire to outwork every excuse, a level of focus and discipline that allowed me to pursue something meaningful, something exceptional. I didn't want to just play football. I wanted to compete with the best, even when they were stronger, faster, more naturally talented. I still wanted the challenge. You can't control how tall you are. You can't control where you're born, or what someone else has. But you can control your effort. You can control your mindset. You can decide to take those 2 reps at the end of practice, when your body's aching and your mind is screaming to quit, and do them anyway. This journey was never me versus them. It was always me versus me. It wasn't about chasing the spotlight or dreaming of the Super Bowl. I didn't wake up every day thinking, I have to be the starter. No, I woke up thinking, I'm going to give my best today. That was enough. Motivation, to never let my teammates down, to honor the opportunity in front of me, however big or small. And that's the secret people don't tell you. Trophies are byproducts. Championships? They're the outcome of mastering the process. Because the truth is, you can't control everything. Sometimes the ball bounces the other way, sometimes the breaks don't come. But that's not failure. You win by staying motivated, even in the losses. You stay grounded even in the wins, because the process, that's what you own. You own your work ethic. You own your consistency. You own your character, your attitude, your energy, your willingness to care deeply. These are things no one can give you, and no one can take from you. But they do need to be nurtured. They need to be drawn out of you, through fire, through failure, through discipline. And once you've found that within yourself, then the magic happens. Because that's when you start passing it on. You become the example, the mentor, the one who lifts the team, not by shouting, but by showing. We talked about personal discipline, effort, and owning your process. But there's one truth that humbles even the greatest of champions. You can't win alone. I don't care how talented you are, how fast, how smart, how naturally gifted. If you don't have the right people around you, you'll hit a wall. You could be great. Maybe you are great. But greatness on its own means little without a team that believes in you, supports you, and pushes you further than you could ever go alone. I had my part to play, sure. I showed up, I did the work, but I'd be lying if I said I did it by myself. I needed them all. When I stepped onto the field as a quarterback, I wasn't stepping out there as a dad. I wasn't a husband in that moment. I wasn't just Tom. I was stepping into a role with a clear purpose. I was the quarterback. That was my identity in that space, and nothing was allowed to distract me from that mission. And to stay sharp, I had to fuel my fire. You know what worked for me? Anger. Anger, when channeled right, is fuel. The more I could create a sense of conflict, even if it was imagined, the more it drove me. I'd ask myself, what did they say about me? Did they look at me the wrong way? Did they underestimate me? That mindset, it got me locked in, focused, wired. So when I stepped onto that field yelling, "Let's go," what I really meant was, let's dominate, let's tear this up. This wasn't just a game. This was a mission, a battle, a commitment to something far bigger than myself, because that's the real motivator, serving something greater than you, a team, a goal, a legacy, a purpose. Looking back, I was never alone on this journey. I had incredible people behind me. My parents, who stood by me through every high and low. My high school coaches, who saw something in me before I saw it in myself. My mentor, my throwing coach, who believed I could lead. Coach Carr at Michigan, who challenged us with words that still echo in my soul, "Those who stay will be champions." So I stayed, and I worked, but let's get real. If you only care about you, if you don't push hard, if you're not accountable to anyone, you're not going far. No one is that perfect. No one wins by accident. Culture, real culture, is built on care. Do we care about each other? Do we care about what we're building together? Most people only care about themselves, and that's where they fall short. It takes consistent discipline to build something that lasts. You've got to make more right choices than wrong ones. You've got to be more focused than distracted, more driven than lazy. Physically, mentally, emotionally, it all stacks up over time. At the end of the day, it wasn't the crowd or the cameras that pushed me, it was the man in the mirror. He was the one I answered to. He was the one I never wanted to disappoint. Because here's the truth. No one can truly take anything from you, except you. You are the only one who can cheat yourself, sabotage your path, walk away from your potential. And don't forget this, no one is great at everything. That's just not how life works. What you know is tiny compared to what you don't know. The best of us stay humble, stay hungry, stay learning. And when the dust settles, you realize, the man who wore number 12, the one they call the greatest of all time, was just a kid who stayed, who fought, who believed, and who never stopped chasing that one truth. Those who stay will be champions. If I wanted to rise above the rest, I knew one thing for sure. I had to outwork them all. It wasn't enough to just show up. Not if I wanted to stand with the best. I had to go further, wake up earlier, stay later, study more, train harder. When the others were sleeping, I had to be sweating. When the others were coasting, I had to be climbing. Not because someone forced me to, but because I chose to. I made a decision. If I was going to be good, I was going to earn it. The hard way, I pushed myself to a level others weren't willing to reach, because nothing in my life was handed to me. No shortcuts, no guarantees. So I treated every practice like it was Sunday night under the stadium lights. I showed up like it mattered, because it did. The way you train is the way you perform. Every rep, every drill, every ounce of effort was a chance to earn respect, not just from my coaches or fans, but from my teammates, from the ones who sweated next to me, from the ones who would go to war beside me. And that work ethic? It didn't stop on the field. I worked just as hard in the weight room. I worked just as hard in the film room. I worked to be a better student, a better communicator, a better leader. If something was asked of me, I gave everything I had. No excuses, no complaints. People love to talk about legacy, about greatness, about being the best of all time. But me? I never said that. I never looked in the mirror and said, I want to be the greatest ever. I just wanted to be the best version of me. That's it. That was enough. I told myself, be proud of the man in the glass. Be proud of the one who wakes up each morning and gives his all. No matter how tired, no matter how tough, we all have gifts. But talent isn't enough. What makes the difference is humility, the courage to face your weaknesses and the discipline to improve them. That's how growth happens. Focus on your path, not someone else's. Focus on the reps you're getting, not the attention they're getting. When opportunity knocks, you don't wait. You don't hesitate. You go all in. You treat it like it's the Super Bowl, even if it's just a Tuesday morning practice. Every day, you're building something. So surround yourself with people who sharpen you, challenge you, and want to see you grow. When I played, I wore two names, the one on the front of the jersey, for the team, for the Patriots, for the Bucks, and the one on the back, for my family, for the people who lifted me up when I was just a kid with a dream. And even though I eventually found success, I wasn't born a prodigy. I wasn't some child star on TV swinging a golf club like Tiger Woods at age 3. I didn't have that jaw-dropping natural talent. What I had was something else. I had grit. I had discipline. From the time I was 13 or 14 years old, I was already wired a little differently. I went to an all-boys school in the Bay Area. I still remember walking in on my first day of freshman year. I barely had any hair under my arms. Meanwhile, other kids were shaving and looked like grown men. I didn't even know how to put pads into my football pants. I had never played organized football, only pickup games on the street. The other boys showed up with worn-in shoulder pads, helmets that fit like second skin. I was the outsider, raw, inexperienced, and scared out of my mind. That first season, I didn't play, not even a little. I was the backup quarterback for a team that went 0-8. We didn't win a single game. I didn't even touch the field. Think about that. They thought I wasn't good enough to start on a team that never won. That stings. But instead of quitting, I decided to show up again. And again. The next year, I showed up at 6 a.m. before school for workouts. I ran the hill drills. I grinded through rope ladders. Only a handful of guys came regularly, and I was one of the few who kept showing up no matter what. I was behind the curve, physically, technically, emotionally, but I didn't let that stop me. My third year, I competed like never before, and still, I lost the starting job to Brian Grease. By my fourth year, I thought, finally, it's my time. I've earned it. But then, they brought in a hotshot recruit named Drew Henson. And just like that, I was back in the fight. The lesson? The competition never stops. You're never done proving yourself. But if you stay in the game long enough, if you show up early, stay late, and give more than what's expected, something incredible happens. You build a fire within that nothing can put out. In the early days, I used to look up, measuring myself against the guys ahead of me, chasing their footsteps. But before long, something shifted. I started to realize there were now people behind me, watching me. And with that came a new kind of responsibility, a higher standard. By the time my fourth year rolled around, something incredible happened. My teammates voted me team captain. That wasn't just a title. That was trust. That was respect earned from day in, day out consistency, grit, and integrity. I finally won the starting job. We had a great season. Finished 10-3. We beat every team we were supposed to beat. We battled hard. We fought for every yard. And just when I thought I had solidified my place, I showed up ready for my fifth year. And Coach Carr pulled me aside. He said, "Tom, you're going to compete with Drew Henson for the starting spot again." Wait. What? I'd already earned it. I had proved myself, hadn't I? But that's not how life works. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is promised. So I took a deep breath and said, "Let's compete." I pushed myself harder than ever before. I trained with purpose. I paid attention to every detail: my conditioning, my strength, my diet, even my off-field decisions. I dialed in. I told myself, "This is your shot, and no one is taking it from you without a fight." Then came the twist. Coach called me in. "Here's the deal," he said. "You'll start the first quarter, Drew will play the second, and I'll decide at halftime who gets the job moving forward." That was it. My career was going to be decided in 2 quarters of football, so I played with fire, with clarity, with no hesitation. And at halftime, Coach walked in and said what I'll never forget. "The platoon's off. Tom's starting the rest of the year." We didn't lose another game, but let me tell you something. It was never easy. Not in high school, not in college, not even for a moment. Then came the draft. After everything I'd given, I truly believed I'd earned my shot. Surely the NFL. Scouts had seen what I could do. I thought I'd be a second-round pick, maybe third. Round 1 came. Nothing. Round 2, nothing. Round 3, 4, 5, nothing. Finally, round 6. Pick 199. That was me, and I'll be honest. I was frustrated. I was fired up. I told myself right then and there, every team that passed on me is going to regret it. See, I wasn't the phenom. I wasn't the kid with the 5-star rating or the media buzz. But I had something that can't be measured by stats: work, ethic, resilience, and the willingness to never give up, no matter how far from home or how little support I had. It was never about the fame. I wasn't chasing headlines or trophies. I wasn't motivated to be a starter. I wasn't even motivated to win a Super Bowl. I was simply motivated to give everything I had, every single day, to honor the opportunity, to respect the team that believed in me, and to never, ever let them down. And here's the irony of life. The hardest moments, they often turn out to be the ones that shape us most. The pain, the setbacks, the doubt. If you meet them with humility, if you look inward instead of blaming outward, they become lessons. They become the greatest gifts for growth. Discipline doesn't mean doing something once. Anyone can show up once. Want to eat healthy for a day? Easy. Do it for a week? That takes more commitment. A month? Now we're talking a year? That's a whole new level of mental toughness. So ask yourself, how long can you keep showing up? Because that's the real measure of success. Not talent, not opportunity, but how consistent you are over time. Me? I didn't care about the spotlight. I never chased the money. I intentionally took less money so my team could stay strong, could stay together. I didn't need endorsements or parties. I needed purpose. I wanted to be surrounded by teammates who shared that same fire. That's what mattered. And in the end, it always came back to one simple truth. If I want to be the best, I have to beat the best. Every single day. If this message lit a fire in you, don't let it fade. Like the video, share it with someone chasing greatness, and subscribe to Motivation Hub Rise for more content that fuels your journey. Let's rise together.